Recently, this is the largest conference or summit that I witnessed about Metaverse recently. I'm Haiying from Shanghai Multimedia Industrial Association. About we have 6 years experience about Metaverse or SR exploration, and thanks for CC Global to give us this chance to have a panel discussion. Lots of people have a doubt about the Metaverse. What kind of changes that it will bring to us? Is this a role? Is this related with an NFT? Actually, the people from the government, they are not really comfortable to see the attitudes, but we see that for Shanghai municipal government, they put it into the 14th five-year plan about information technology planning. Therefore, Metaverse development is really popular in Shanghai. Lots of national, state-joined companies, even the government department people, they focus on it. Compared with SR, they need more industrial synergy, how to really localize it, and how far away we are from localization, and can we have an initial result of the discussion? Therefore, I prepare some questions. Maybe you could have a self-introduction first. Start from Yisheng. Again, from Microsoft China, I'm Yisheng. I'm the cloud solution architect. And so for Duanmu gave us this chance to talk about the Metaverse. Thank you. Hello, I'm YaoRaiden from Shanghai. I'm really responsible for emerging market, industrial product responsible person. We mainly focus on Asia Pacific, Europe, America, and emerging market. We want to do verification and exploration about the market for Metaverse. Since last year till now, our focus, we have a different scenario, not only in China but overseas. Asia Pacific, Korea, America market, we saw a great trend. Their application scenario combination with the commercial part to do localization is still in the process. And based on past years' technological support, we see lots of scenarios has been implemented. And hopefully we could see the industry and the application scenario could be really implemented very well. And just now you mentioned about the foundation part. And we believe that anything needs to be based on all these foundations and support. Thanks for the organizer invitation. I come from leading supplier, Mr. Yisheng. We have a young team. We learn art and the planning department overseas and then come back to China. I can use a simple word to introduce our institution. We are NGO organizations. Last year in the Temporary Museum, we have 34 artists, science and technology artists in Xi'an Artist Exposition Show. We publish 19 artist exposition in some virtual platforms. For this virtual part, we have Professor LiAgora, and every night he make a picture or draw for his dream. Every night he keep to do that for like 30 years. Therefore, there's a data pool there. And his artist piecework is most expensive in China right now. And Professor Xueqing is another artist in our platform. It's the first time in the NFT auction for the flowers pavilion. and Feng Yuzhu win the bidding to get this piece of work. And I want to announce that next year on the platform we try to promote it. For each month, there will be lots of individual planning about the artist. If you are interested, please like to stay tuned and check about these updates. And I'm really very honored to be invited. I want to introduce about the company. We are established in 2018. We are an AI company. We are doing Slim 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus X. 1 means we have a vision, means we want to create a Metaverse infrastructure. 2 means 2 contents, avatar or virtual contents. 3 means 3 platforms plus X. X means enabling various type of industries. It's a simple introduction. And here I want to give more explanation about the association. Last year we did 2 things. First, it's about the synergy about the industry. We get a 10 industrial association written support. We have a team standard as our eyeglasses validation and a test about the eye safety. We work together with ZOC and Shanghai municipal #1 hospitals and TUV technologists and to get a 14 eyeglasses brand as our brand. And manufacturer support, Pico Gloria support. At the same time, we also write a white paper application manual. In this manual, we invited 17 companies, 27 cases to give us a quantum analysis. It's a good sell tool, so you could use it in various type of scenario to convince your potential users to use as our technologists to give them a great cases. And each day we have a Metaverse show to talk about Metaverse daily. We also have some talk shows 1 time per twice a week. We create lots of content, and just now we heard about Yu Xiao's announcement. And this year in March in Shanghai, we have the first in the world. We don't need to talk about it. We just check about what's your products for a Metaverse. So Metaverse Exposition Exploration Summit. This is the first time in the world. Feng Yuzhu will be one of the participants, and Fengsheng is another one. So there will be explosive period. Welcome for registration. Since we are here for discussion, and we saw that they have their glasses, the chips, new things comes up. For example, like chips and the foundation technology NLP or the other things. We have the scenario. We have the virtual digital assets. There will be other technologies come up to give the support. Maybe we could give some introduction about the support tech. And the Metaverse period is about for cloud, eyeglasses, what other techs that you need, and what are your deployment. Thanks for Professor Duanmu gave this opportunity. As a leader in the industry, we are still talking about what is Metaverse. They are still cared about the user experience from the eyes healthiness and the application scenario. There's already validation verification for Microsoft. Since before the come up of the Metaverse, we already have some products to serve and sell in the market. Maybe you know about the AR glasses. We didn't call AR or VR. We call it mixed reality glasses, Oculus. Now we have the second generation. And based on this raw physical scenario, it could be combined with raw products. And just now we already mentioned about the glasses in CES conference. We work together with Qualcomm. For this glass, it still use AM optimizer RM RAM chips. In the near future, there will be more scenarios, 3D rendering, special effects. The hardware can't satisfy the Metaverse experience. Therefore, there should be specialized optimizer chips. Besides this, you could see that Microsoft, because we have lots of portfolios, we could prep from the network infrastructure, storage, and even upper applications. If you think it belongs to Metaverse concept, we already have the Metaverse Minecraft in the gaming industries. Our products support NFT plugins. You could get a badge for this token. Actually, is published in the NFT chain. These are applications in entertainment industries for Oculus eyeglasses. It could be combined with exhibition. For Microsoft, they have digital twin, which is another concept. For the physical world, for example, like buildings, vehicles, a human body, you could transfer to a digital version. And then you could have interactions with vehicles or human beings. For Microsoft, we have virtual glasses, airlines, which means we have a standard OpenSR. There's Oculus, HoloLens, etc. For OpenSR standard. It's an industrial standard. The Microsoft took part into the SR 2.0 compiling. Engineers at Microsoft, they try to contribute for the coding of an SR.
In the next 5 years, the browser could also support the Metaverse and the virtual reality and other features like this. If you're interested, you can have a look at Chrony by Google and the source codes. There are many open XR features added in it. If you have not yet experienced that, you can take a look. So from the perspective of Microsoft, in terms of the Microsoft Mesh, it will be added to the Windows. It could facilitate synergies or synergizations in the entertainment industry, because the entertainment would not create many business values. The true values of business come from Microsoft Mesh. So with that SDK, you can actually work with the avatar and real person for communication, and on the virtual whiteboard you can draw something in the virtual world. So those are the scenarios with great business values. These features have been integrated into the synergized work app called Teams. In the next year, you can experience the Mesh function and its features. Thank you so much. And a lot of functions have been integrated into this. And you also have a lot of NLP. What kind of NLP functions can be integrated into the Metaverse? From my personal view, my understanding of Metaverse is that it's actually a virtual representation of a physical world, or a virtual restructuring, which means to break the limits of the people, break the distance, shorten the distance between people. Well, from the perspective of technology, it is about structuring a real-time space for video, text, etc. Well, concerning that, Metaverse application could enable a real-time communication and interaction. We have 4 features: low latency, high interaction, high immersion, and anywhere. Low latency is easy to understand. SDRN is a set of a low latency software defined system. With our logic of app, we can form a CRAC real-time interaction network. Unlike the conventional conferences, the Metaverse is a place that has no boundaries. For example, that has no limits on the number of members, and Metaverse is a decentralized way, like an unlimited number of people could join the Metaverse. On the other side, high level of interaction is based on the low latency and high bandwidth. So with the real-time interaction and communication, while synchronizing the video and the text, it feels like we are sitting in the one place, but virtually, or like avatars sit together in the virtual world. So how to make it synchronized, like we are sitting together? Actually, it could enable us to feel like we are sitting face to face, even though we are like 100 kilometers apart. And this is a very interesting practice of metaverse, application of metaverse. Another one is the sensational and the sensations. For example, the audio, the video, and tactile or haptic sensations. So with SDK and with our application platform, we can deliver that performances. By the beginning of the year, we'll release a new SDK, especially for the application of avatars in Metaverse. Recently, we released a PR saying a preview, a meta chart application scenario, or called 元语聊, meaning in the metaverse chat room, you can talk to each other based on the real-time like interaction logic and technology. And the last feature is anyway. As a metaverse with both end and network, so metaverse could be integrated on every system, on every network, so the users can choose their scenarios based on the SDK, either on mobile phone, desktop, or even on sensors. And for such ecosystem as the moderator set block P or wearable device or the other XR, AR application scenarios, it has already been integrated with our deep network. So this is what we have done already in Metaverse. Are there any other technologies that can be added to this? Well, telecommunication technologies, in addition to connectivity technologies, I think Web 3.0 and decentralized application logics or behavior tracing, business tracing technology could be integrated. For example, like those lightweight integration. Well, such tracing technology is related to blockchain, etc. Mr. Li introduced your company, like you have done an event called the national concert with 0.01 milliseconds latency. So what do you mean by you can barely notice the latency when all the Chinese people are in one concert? We actually adopted auto agency to enable all the streams to have synchronization at the same time. Now we could manage to control the latency as 78 milliseconds. Well, 1000 milliseconds equal to 1 second. So such a low latency you can barely notice. So it's truly a concert, not a duel. Yeah, it's a very vivid example to show your technological strengths. Mr. Zhang introduced their investments in VR, XR, and Metaverse. And how about Lei Jiansuo? What is your technological strengths and how to incubate the digital asset and artists? What kind of technologies you need for this? And how is your deployment or layout? Because you've been working for the incubation of artists for the last 1 year. I think this is a great supplementary aspect. Sony approached us to trying to create a scenario for incubating artists. Last year, we visited 36 art academies and relevant majors from south to north. We visit a lot of schools. We also witness some cross-disciplinary cooperations. It requires our technology to be integrated in it because most of the creation come from the artists, but they lack the technological support. We also invite the experts from the Chinese Academy of Art to screen the creative contents. We have received 400 to 500 creative works from over 80 famous academies of art. So they are very passionate for creating contents for Metaverse, but most of them are from T-Lab. And we want to discover the local talents of creativity and then introduce them abroad. Well, we want to discover the local talents, local creative ideas in the future for NFT or for the bidding of technology, art. This is a very good starting point. What kind of technology will you need? Because we focus on creativity and the incubation of artists. So we still are a SaaS platform provider. Madam Yu and Mr. Li talk about two different concepts because Metaverse is truly inclusive, and sometimes it's very hard to immerse in the Metaverse. Well, technique and technology are actually the same thing, and art is derived from technique. Well, it's easy to find engineers, but not very easy to find artists. As far as I know, for example, Tsinghua University or Harvard University or other art schools like Rhode Island schools. Well, those top schools and universities in art open the majors to cultivate cross-disciplinary talents. They recruit students from technology background or from IT background or for art background to foster talents of cross-disciplinary, cross-subject. Nowadays, the museum has a multimedia exhibition based on video and text. In the future, there will be immersive exhibition. Not only you can see the poems of the ancient, but also you can talk to the ancient. I want to add something. While we are talking to different companies, either from China, abroad, XR developer or gaming industry, actually China lagged behind the developed countries by 10 years. And the requirements of the developed countries for gaming were pretty high. They require talents from both IT background and art background. However, in China, it's very hard to find a team composed of people from both IT background and art background. So we want to combine both technology and art in the gaming industry. And what kind of technology can you support them? Well, to put it simply, our company, MoFa Technology, what we are doing right now is to transition from Web 1.0, 2.0 to 3.0. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade of a medium or carrier. We think Metaverse is actually a 180-degree mapping of or mirroring of a physical world. So everything in the real world has representation in virtual world. What we are doing right now is quite different from what the other speakers are doing. We focus on the most underlying layer or the fundamental layer. When we are transitioning from Web 1.0 to 3.0, we need to update the median and carrier. But one thing remains unchanged, which is content. Although the form of content is changing, from the perspective of content generation, what is the pain point in this market? When we are generating the content, the efficiency is pretty low, and the quality is also low, and we cannot produce a batch of contents in high quality. In our company, we can leverage AI or algorithm or technology to empower the 3D content generation on the cloud. And such cloud platform will be released by the second of this year to empower each sector and individuals for the generation of creative contents, either for the brands, either for the sectors like pharmaceutical or automobile. With our platform, they can generate their own avatars, or they can generate or make their own videos. So this is what we are doing right now at MoFa Technology. We now focus on B2B mainly. And so your technology can solve the pain points of the industry. We have covered many cryptocurrency last year as well. We have also seen presentations of avatars throughout the day.
And for the avatar, actually, I believe that there are already lots of avatar there. For example, Liu Yixi and Dr. Liang already mentioned that, or Leo, or Daji, etc. For the avatar in the market, the pinpoints is that most of the avatar, when they do the presentation or demonstration, they use the pictures rather than audio ways. Video ways is too expensive, yes, considering about the cost. Firstly, it's about the cost. The second point, as Yao mentioned, is about the valley effect. Lots of technologists, when they band in with the technologists, in order to make it more realistic, we consider about valley of fear. In fact, we use the facial expressions, make it almost the same as the real human beings. This is what we are doing because of the uncanny valley effect. Therefore, we think about that's why it's still developing at this speed. Now the existing virtual idol, their richest level is within 100. Apple Arcade support 30 or 40 something. And once you do very well about this, there's a point as how to make it more real. We need the visual born technologists to give the support. Talking about the technologists, how do we integrate all of them together. How to create the super link connected metaverse and guaranteeing all the industry development. Not only about like each one. After we do lots of explorations, we need to implement and localize and start it from Zhang. And just now we mentioned we create the first platform. We call it a Magic Cloud platform. And through the cloud manufacturing to make high efficiently, high quality output, no matter whether it's contents or the other things. Second point, as Duanmu mentioned, in order to guarantee all these industries, we hope that no matter whether C terminals, users, or the brand terminal, through our platform, they could have their virtual avatar or vertical services. Is it expensive? It's hard to answer the question. We could discuss about it later. This is a second and third platform. And the second one is the virtual live streaming platform, because we hope it could be a lifetime immersive anywhere. For the immersive, we could let the partner which do the VR or hardware companies willingly give the support for contents. After we have the live streaming, virtual live streaming, we could have the in-time meeting interactions for social connections or emotion communication. At the end of this year, they will be published to customers or to business terminals. 2B is the cost is cheaper compared to C terminal. The third one is for company. Because for different companies, you need HR admin. And the problems that you found is that when each employee asks for HR questions, asks for help, like when should I have my payment, when should I have my holidays, like actually those questions are similar. Therefore, we could use full intelligent information platform. Other people from different industries, we created an avatar. The first avatar, we also do the R&D, TBSA, similar as NRP. There will be also cooperative ones. No matter whether it's voice and gestures, we could have a whole set to provide the services. You provided the abilities, but the customers, they need to explore their needs. If they need, they could produce anything that they want. A self-PR process, they still need industrial synergy. Let's check how about Yu's opinions. I learned a lot from your sharing. Me too. For Superlink scenario, I think about actually Metaverse comes from Snow Crash. There's a scenario there which is related with physical world, which is delivery man. He provided food. This is the services. Other needs comes from virtual world. And the spiritual and emotion process, which is a virtual one. In Snow Crash, it's not Decentraland and crypto also, which is a more simulation scenario. It's more dark one. Other user, once you go inside, you just spend 1 megabytes, you could get all this information. But if you walk more, then you will need 5G or 50 gigabytes to get more information. It seems that this metaverse makes sense compared with the one-to-one virtual world. And we see that the creation of the artwork, when we talk about crypto punks, creation of the pictures or graphic formation, and like something, make a picture about the flowers to do the AI formation. Actually, NFT is related with the metaverse. In the creation of the artworks, there's a process. That is what we are exploring and digging. Like creative artists who are focused on this. Actually, you didn't really answer the question. I could understand that because you are more focused on application scenarios rather than the other part. There could be different scenarios. How about I could answer the question directly. I could give you an example. I just now mentioned that the avatar Metaverse application figures. If you use the pictures, it costs less, but if it's video, it's more expensive. If you check about the logically, the avatar actually is not a video, it's a structural output, data output. It could be one frame from the video. From front-side application logic, it could be changed to a real avatar, which is a good application logic. And based on this ownership of this back, we couldn't make it a brand. It's not the products of Shengwang's test. Based on this platform application, or Microsoft, a cloud platform company, for this platform work together with the front end and back end. Through the synergy, you could create new emerging application scenario to improve the productivity, lower the cost. Use a lower cost to come to everyone's home. The logic is connectivity. It's not decentralized. Idle virtual contents. It should be decentralized. UGC, PUGC, application scenario. Even the normal civilians, they could also have the contact with it. The moderator talked about headsets. And they did a big thing. This year, they put the headsets as HTC is a partner of Shengwang. They put the consumer level headset into a lower cost, but with good performance. Take example of Microsoft. For HoloLens is a strong application system. We also pay attention to it. It's a little bit expensive. It's hard to have the access to normal civilians. But for the future development and the traffic point of view, if you want to make all this application scenario to a more high efficient and lower cost developed platform, and let all the people involved, and then lower the cost, and more people are willing to pay for that. The more, if there are more people, there will be logic produced. Before the live streaming, live media is more centralized, but for Kuaishou, the TikTok, it's not like that. They could create the contents by themselves, everyone involved, and then they created a culture. In 2018, we created the first Yangtze River Delta virtual contents competition. We find a Belgium company, they want to do the VR contents development tools for everyone. This is the thing what we're looking for. For Roblox, or other opening application scenario is not just a game. Since they opened this platform, they invited everyone to be involved and participate. Like Microsoft mentioned before, Minecraft. My children play that daily. I really hate that. We also China brand products. There's a Metaverse company. It's not advertisement. We have an initial cooperation with them for Microsoft. They call it 电脑乾坤 Rewarder. They are doing some games similar as Minecraft. And China version Roblox. It's your turn now. how to make the connections and create the connectivity. You're talking about your own things, but connectivity is more of a synergy, finding the same goal for Microsoft as a head company about the developer ecology and the synergy partner planning. Maybe we could share more. In the new financial year for Microsoft, our sales team, we created the organization, the ABB Innovation, mainly about the innovative application from pre-sales, sales, and after sales, and the technical support. We have a whole team and tools and technical structure to support it. During the recent 20 years, Microsoft, we think ourselves as a productivity platform companies. Even though we have 200,000 employees in the world, we are not the largest software company. We are the world's largest productivity production companies. We are tools. We create an algorithm. We are the basic infrastructure. The things we are doing is really simple. Reduce the staff numbers and improve the efficiency. If it could be done by machine, we won't use human beings. If you could 100 times per day, we will make it to do 10,000 times per day. This is what we are doing. For Microsoft, we have our own consideration. For application scenario, we could give you an example. We have our services in our called remote rendering, which means if you create a 3D avatar, you turn on the Unreal, you should have a good hardware, and then you find that it's hard to buy the display card. If you want to buy HoloLens, eyeglasses, or headsets, you do the rendering up of the model, and then you find that the hash rate of HoloLens is not enough. How to solve that? The solution right now we have is we put the workload, upload it in the cloud, and provide the rendering services based on your needs. Even though you have only low configured PC, you could still have the capabilities to develop this avatar. We already integrated these services in Unity.
And also our HoloLens products, and we also support all the open XR wearable device. So every those products can use our remote rendering services with very low workload and enjoy very good effect of rendering. So this is our understanding. And how about the price? It's demand based. Well, remote rendering is very cost effective. Well, because it's on public cloud, you can use it. Creators can also use it. It's not available in Mac. No, yeah. Actually, we talked to Zhongxing. The feedback from the operators saying there is no top-class AR/VR application based on 5G. They think now the biggest problem of the rendering is that there are some renderings on the public cloud, but you need to have the Mac level rendering on 5G. It takes 5 people cost. At the cost of 5 people, so it's very expensive. So what do you think of the rendering? Well, in terms of creating virtual contents, there are many steps. Actually, we are now working on integrating the underlying technology on the platform. Our starting point is the same or similar to Microsoft to reduce the cost, increase efficiency. Microsoft focused on engine and other technology. MoFa focused on the IPA technology and AI technology to integrate in together. So your rendering or your workstation is still on the cloud, Yes, in the future it will be moved to cloud, on public cloud in the future. So now the rendering on the edge or on the cloud, you still haven't figured out. Well, for AI rendering, to be honest, we now use the engine of Unity, or we're developing the engine of Oracle. Sorry, it's Oracle. We will develop our own server, the lighting, and the base, and to put it on our platform so that you can choose and use. Well, the true synergies depend on the pros and cons, depend on the complementaries between different parties, or otherwise you will work on your own things instead of helping each other. So now we would like to have a public platform to integrate all the resources and technology. Now we have achieved a certain level of synergies with 10 or dozens of software and hardware companies. So what we want to do now is to establish an organization or alliance for finding the leads. In terms of money or financing, and what is your take on this? IFT is very popular. NFT is so popular in overseas markets. So is NFT a new way of trading, or NFT is another kind of blockchain? And there are different kinds of cryptocurrency. But in China, we have a very strict regulation on this. Well, for cloud-based or our meta universe or like NFT virtual currency platform, we need a technology to support the trading of the data or exchange of the data. Even if for the redundancy of the data, we still need to have a centralized or decentralized management. So what's your take on this? And will you provide some technology support for NFT, especially for China market, how to be compliant about NFT regulation in China, because we really look forward to that. And for all the Metaverse, it's just a trading plus BTC or DHC. Are there any other ways to achieve the business value? Free. My idea on this topic, for NFT, it's been popular for a really long time. In 2016, 2017, it gets very popular. We call it Crypto Kit. Oh, have you played a game called Crypto Kit? Well, you are a rich person if you ever played the Crypto Kit or Cat or Crypto Kitten. Well, for NFT or non-fungible like currencies, for example, Bitcoin, Filecoin, etc., it's not very compliant or legitimate to make business value. And the true business value came from the combination of the coin and the virtual world and physical world, and to register the NFT on the virtual world. And NFT is quite complicated in virtual world. If you purchase a virtual property, maybe it's valid on this platform but not valid on other platforms. How to solve the problems? So these are very complicated issues, and you need to bridge the virtual world and the physical world, maybe by means of IoT. Well, one object in the physical world, once it has changes or the number changed, whether it could be reflected in the NFT, only by then NFT is valuable or is useful. So this is my own idea. All right, the other three panelists, do you have any ideas on this topic? Well, from my understanding, whether NFT will have a influence or value on the metaverse or other means of internet. Well, there are many contents created on the metaverse. There is an exponential growth of the creative contents. However, the pain points for individual creators is that they can hardly have any returns. In the past, the music or the video royalties in mature markets are quite established. For example, Google or Apple Store have their own loyalty scheme. And the loyalty scheme value is realized only by means of VR AR. However, for NFT, the total landscape is different. So, in such a decentralized creator community, whether NFT could become a new solution across different platform regions with low cost, then whether NFT can create values for individual creators, this is something we have been pondering. Well, I think it's related to Web 3.0. So, in your idea, instead of the media hype, NFT's value for individual creator still remain to be discussed. Well, we want to be very down to earth and practical. We want to really know whether NFT can truly help the society, the community to create values. This is something we really focus on. Because today we have been talking about some big companies like Sandbox, how they develop the NFT, how they could make contributions and make business values. Because in the world of metaverse, if you purchase a land virtually, and how to create values for the users in the future, you need to group people according to their cultures so that you can target them with some marketing campaigns and how to target them legally and compliantly. How about you? Well, you've talked about application scenarios. Recently, the Fortnite concert was so popular. As the Z generation, we saw this is a very good combination of the physical world and the virtual concert. All the followers and fans attend the concert in avatars, and the singers are like the giant avatars. Well, for example, the bidding for artist works as NFT is up to 90 million RMB or US dollars. Well, with NFT, the individuals can earn their own values and gains from the artist's works, and they can form into a community. Well, it's not simply uploading a picture or a JPG or a clip of video. After we talk to many artists, they simply think this is like a new kind of e-commerce like moving from offline to online, they haven't yet changed their mindset. So we would like to introduce the latest development and technology to them and the latest way of publishing their artist works. For example, Feng Yuzhu company in 2021 work with the Public Security Administration of Ding'an District for a NFT product of Amushi yogurt. So the government has certain policies and measures. But again, which backdrop should we do this? It's something we need to think about. And some companies say they work with the government for anti-fraud blockchain application. So as long as the consumers or government has a requirement, we can provide solutions very compliantly. All right. I still have two follow-up questions or individual questions. I want to ask your feelings or takeaways. Are there any three applications that will take off first in the metaverse? In addition, except for gaming, entertainment, are there any other industries we can participate in the metaverse? So, what is the positioning of individuals or companies? How to seize opportunity of metaverse? And how to position ourselves in the new tide of metaverse. I believe you are trying to find a way for developing metaverse. So, what is your take on this? What are the most important three applications for metaverse in the future? Well, in my idea, the top three applications that can take off very soon in metaverse is the exhibition industry. It's very hard to achieve a mega metaverse, but we can materialize a focal metaverse with the interactions of people, communities, and now we have mature technologies and we have done some trials in this regard. As we all know, some museums not open all the year long. We cannot offer immersive experience, but we can make the visitors more immersive in the museum with the metaverse.
For the C terminal, this is critically needed. The second point is about the offices and the synergy. It's not to say that I do the promotion, advertisement for my own company. And during the COVID period, it promoted these types of needs. And the best benefits from this COVID is an online meeting. For Tencent meeting, they keep updated about the versions for continuous 28 days, and Zoom go public. Microsoft Teams use rate is 15 times more in the world, which means that lots of business opportunities. We use avatar to represent you. Seems that it's not really so much compared with the other part I mentioned. If you want to have an immersive experience and through our conference interactive visit, you could reach this result. This is a great business opportunities if you can make it. From Beijing to Shanghai, and the traffic plus accommodation maybe 4,000 RMB, but through the metaverse simulation, we could have an immersive experience for 1 hour. It just takes about 1,000 RMB, but it saves time. And I improve my efficiencies and get the same experience. I don't need to go to the site by myself. Therefore, you could see the efficiency is much higher. I believe that there are lots of opportunities here. This is my idea. For Accenture, they bought 600,000 Oculus. I discussed with exhibition companies, you should do the online meeting solutions. Otherwise, you can't succeed later on. For us, we are a platform. Based on our platform, connected application, we have the same idea compared with Li. First exhibition, because of COVID-19 lockdown, the global exhibition come to the winter time. It is periodically from the beginning with COVID-19, people don't use Metaverse. People use webinar. So webinar or conference scenario, Zoom meeting to have a communication. Later on, they found that it can't satisfy all their needs. Lots of exhibition transferred to Metaverse direction. And recently, we saw that Hyundai in Korea, they use online Metaverse to create first online auto show. So 3D modeling and the scenario construction, they could create a real good immersive scenario. And people just go there and open the hood. You could see all the detail of the vehicles, even better experience than offline. For exhibition, no matter whether in China or overseas, there's a great need for application. Another point is social. We could say that for Hyundai or overseas application scenarios, there's a Zhangjiajie, which is a battle, which is popular in Korea. Their application scenarios, if you're not so much about them, they could use. This is based on network. Do the 3D Metaverse. There are different application scenario. They use the voices or the other things. They change the voice to have a better socialization networks to realizing the social functionality. And this is like developed from gaming industry to enter yourself. And this is the second area which developed really fast. I think you're a little bit conservative. You just mentioned 2 points. How about you two? Exhibition? For Fengzhu, actually, you mainly focus on that. I want to talk about the connection, the interface, AR/VR application about the physical world and the virtual world. We have linking technology companies to do the exploration about the VR. Another point from LiAgora perspective, we try to do incubation about the artist. And next year, we're going to have an auction behavior for NFT or digital collection, which is a good direction. Exposition, socialization, and digital collection. I want to share my personal idea. My idea is more from technical part. And actually, I'm familiar with Rio. They do a lot of art exhibition below VR. They have Adidas. They have the contents formality. Personally speaking, or from the company perspective, we do the future IP. Now we see no matter Marvel or the other movie or TV series IP, we do our own IP. In the future, when it comes to explosive period, in the Metaverse area, they create a higher value. And then we could do the 3D iteration later on. First, you should have it Based on your suggestions of subscription socialization and digital collections and IP incubation or early deployment, all this thing is based on your historical segmentation. Let's check about whether it's bought by people or really well or the other company published technology. This is the segmentation or gathering experiences during the past several years, similar as the old Asian. A smart guy mentioned that we need timing. All this timing, all these elements gathering together, and then we could realize it. We could make sure Metaverse would explode new buzzwords before 2026 and then develop it into the other directions. All these application scenarios we need to keep taking, but at the same time we need to make sure that we should survive first. I saw some entrepreneurs, they selling their properties to do the startup. Lots of company before 2016, the companies since last year they did the transition. They do the VR business, but they also provide consultancy services or short video or like the other areas to maintain their cash flow. There's another one. They use the online conference way. They use online offline one-to-one iteration. They use a computer or mobile phone. You choose a seat, you sit there. It's like a big home. You could choose your own place and you could cover the other person's. But for them, you choose a seat. If the other person wants to choose the seat, you could only sit on the ground, which is interesting. For the interactive technologies, up to the optimized. Another point during the past 30 years of interactive technologies, there's no so large innovative actions like the sound foundations about the Shenwang. The other technology or directions, we could make it more immersive for studies and researchers. And I believe that this sharing is just the beginning. Hopefully, we could gathering about our accumulation during the past 10 years, and thanks for CC Global to give us this opportunity for sharing. Any questions from the audience? You could hear that actually. And we can hear the voice. Please speak to the microphone. The speaker doesn't speak to the microphone.
Sure. 就咱们有关注过过去的机器人案例吗？除了像蔚蓝，然后那个福特。
You talked about the new and the zebra, and then do you have any experience in this aspect? If you didn't have, as far as I know, for the onboard solutions, it's more like infotainment in the vehicle. For the driver, AR, VR direction, there's no real project or program. Only for the driver, if they drive AR glasses, it's not that convenient. There's reflections and the shading rate, etc. For the taxi, maybe later on there could be some embodied entertainment services. For a new, they have not loaded real solutions which are provided for passengers. You could choose Nalo or Unreal, or both of them. For the users, it is customer-oriented services. We don't need to talk about a more professional part. We could also add some holograph. We make the best use of limited space, like sound control for Dongfeng. They add on board holograph solution. Last year, for Shanghai Auto Show, last year they already come up with a prototype. These are the solutions that we know. Later on, if you have further idea, for Shanghai Auto City, they have a automobile innovation center. You could also go there and visit them, have more communication. The speaker doesn't speak to the microphone. And speaker doesn't speak to the microphone. Please speak to the microphone.
Xirang 跟你们交流。OK。我还以为你要有提问，没，这个挺好。其实就是需要各行行业来碰撞，因为其实我们现在还有一个痛点，行业痛点，除了我们说的技术。
We have a pinpoints like for each industry. We focus on our own technologies. There's no vertical area resources. We need to try to find relevant solutions. That's the issues to really make innovative solutions to be localized.
Please use microphone, please. So what is the relation of your question to Metaverse? So you mean what is the infrastructure involved in Metaverse? Is that right? Please speak to the microphone. Interpreter cannot hear you. How many underlying technologies does it require for Metaverse? Maybe we need to draw a topology to illustrate that. Understood. Well, for our company, it's based on software-defined. We have a little integration with telecom network. So telecom network belong to the third layer, application layer, and for the infrastructure layer, we still rely on the pipeline of telecommunication network. So this is our understanding. And based on that, we could build up some codec or some live streaming, stream video, and etc. Well, I'm not sure whether I answer your question or not. To a certain extent, the Shenwang and our business logic is relying on the software-defined logic for some video streams, etc. And for conventional telecom carriers like Telecom or 3GT, we have not yet covered this business. Please use microphone. the interpreter cannot hear it. Please use microphone. Well, Huawei is now working on the encoding technology based on Chinese language. This is also the underlying technology. I mean, for this kind of underlying technology, how to solve the problem of processing a sea of data? Are there any software, hardware needed for this? Well, thank you for your question. It's very technical. Maybe you can contact our speaker after the session because it's too technical. All right, maybe let's call an end. Thank you so much for your presentation and sharings. So this is the end of